I started playing CS just to be on that stage, right? But when you're on that stage, it's not as easy as you saw in the Twitch stream when you watch all of Meister and JW running around. Since I was young, every new experience in my life, I couldn't eat before that. These 2 days, after we made the semi-final, I was like, I just didn't have the appetite to eat. Back then, I didn't have the experience to tell myself, like, let's focus on it. I used to think, like, oh my God, I can be in the final, I can be this, maybe we pick the trophy in Lisbon. You know, I didn't think, how do I win this game? I thought, like, how nice it's gonna be to just pick the trophy.
Welcome back, everybody, to a very special episode of Time Capsule. That is because episode 5 features its first ever player as a guest, in the form of the wonderful Flamez. It's easy to forget that he is only 21 years old, having been competing professionally since 2018, to this year lifting the trophy at IEM Cologne with vitality. Although a formidable opponent inside the server, Flamez is one of the most charismatic and bubbly personalities we have in the scene. And in this episode, he opens up about the reality of nerves on stage, why he loves to be a conversation starter, and his fascination with nailing a British accent. Are you familiar with the idea of time capsules? Do they have those like...
Time capsules?
Yeah, like basically...
So like going back in time and stuff?
Well, it's kind of like when I was a kid, you would build these time capsules where you'd have like a plastic tub and you put things in it, like toys or sweets, and you bury it in the ground, and then maybe one day someone will dig it up and they'll see, oh, 2001 Freya,
okay, yeah.
put this in there.
That's pretty cool. So you don't use it yourself, you let other people maybe figure it out.
Exactly, and you'll never know. I mean, you probably could nowadays because you could put your mobile number in it, but back then you didn't have mobiles. So that's kind of the idea we're going for with this, is building a metaphorical time capsule. So it's not real, you can put whatever you want in there, but imagine you were to listen to this 10, 15 years later, this would be 2024 Flamez.
Wow,
and the first item I want you to put in there is something from esports, a moment, a physical item, something you think would exemplify you.
Oh, a moment. So, okay.
I mean, anything.
So I think the first time I was on stage on Counter-Strike, I think that was like a moment that I got a slap in the face, and also like a really joyful moment, because it was Blast Lisbon, I think, at 2022.
Yeah.
And first time when we just got Neofog in the team and Fico, Mantu has COVID-19, we get Dexter in as a stand-in, and we come into this tournament, and I'm like, you know, I think you were doing the host, and you and James, and I was like, it's so cool just sitting and seeing you guys from the back instead of like watching from the crowd. But I was really stressed, you know, I was really worried in a sense, and usually I'm trying to be really rational, calm, chill, you know, not getting the emotions ahead of me and stuff like that, especially in CS. But then there I faced like a slap in the face in that sense. Yeah, and that took me back to like realizing, okay, you are here. I started playing CS just to be on that stage, right? But when you're on that stage, it's not as easy as you saw in the Twitch stream when you watch all of Meister and JW running around and stuff like that. So I got like a briefly like you know like a deja vu feeling in a sense. Like I've been here before, but it didn't feel as right as it does right now.
Yes.
But
no, I guess it's the imagination versus the reality of it, right? You build this idea up, and I think we hear it from players all the time when, I'm trying to remember who it was recently that I spoke to, or not recently. No, it's back in Cado for Team Spirit and all of those guys. Basically, I mean, obviously Chopper's got experience on stage.
Yeah, but it's sort of the first grand final.
Exactly, and everyone's saying, no, I don't care, it's going to be exactly the same. I'm like, no, dude, it's not. Like.
But this Don guy, it was exactly the same for him.
That's crazy, because that tournament in Lisbon, you were on OG, obviously, and that was only the top 4 teams made it to the stage, right? 8 teams entered, and I remember we were all amazed by your performance.
Yeah, it was like...
Because you were super underdogs, right?
Yeah, but it was also, thanks to Dexter coming in, the team felt really fresh, in a sense, but also like I think with Mantu we had like a better team structure, but because he was stand-in, you know, we come with no pressure, we're like, guys, just have fun, let's enjoy it, which gives you an edge over most of the teams, because, you know, back then I think we beat actually think we beat Navi in the first game, and then ENS, which were top 2 back then. But coming against Navi, they were top 1 back then. No doubt that FaZe were like up there with them, but we came in and we just beat them, and we were like, and I remember even Newfox saying after we beat them the second map, guys, we can actually win this game. Like, people didn't believe it. We just came to enjoy, like a bunch of 20-year-olds, like on stage, not on stage, but in a nice tournament in Portugal. And Portugal, we love Portugal. Like, it's a good location. OG CEO, No Tail, he lives there, so we came to see him. It was really fresh and everything was really chill. And we just beat Navi. I'm like, okay, nice. We played really well. Then we beat ENS. And then I'm like, Navi again on semi-final in front of like 6,000 people. And Navi are always the favorites. The crowd always cheers for them. It's going to be tough. And then once you get into the moment that you already beat Navi, so it might happen again and you might face a grand final. Back then, I didn't have the experience to tell myself, like, let's focus on it. I used to think, like, oh my God, I can be in the final. I can be this, maybe we pick the trophy in Lisbon. I didn't think about how do I win this game. I thought, like, how nice it's going to be to just pick the trophy, which eventually transferred when I joined Vitality and there is more stage experience. You understand, like, okay, this game, you need to focus on it, chill out, shut up, don't think about, like, other stuff that don't have any value.
Yeah, I guess it's a different ball game, right? And I guess that goes to what people say all the time is that, you just got to take it game by game.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you were in the mentality of, well, we've already beaten these guys.
Yeah.
Trophy's there for the taking, basically. Can you walk me through, like, obviously, because I've never been in the perspective of a player when we're getting ready to throw to the stage walkouts. How were you feeling in that moment, if you can remember, when you're waiting backstage? I imagine, everything's dark, you're just there with your teammates. What were the feelings like there?
I was like, always when I'm stressed, I need water. My throat becomes really dry. So I was like, Vladi, where is the water? Can we get some water, please? Before and Blast, you're getting lifted in that lift.
Of course,
So it's even more worrying because they're telling you, yo, when the sound stops, you need to walk to the staircase. And the staircase, you see fire like going down from it. I was like, man, we're gonna fuck this up somehow. And it's really worrying. Back then, I was like, I didn't really think about the game. I just thought about, how it's just how it is, how I'm gonna see the stage, how it's gonna look like, and people with me are laughing and sort of dealing with the stress in their own way. And I was more quiet in that. I tried to be really explosive with the energy, but also really quiet because I said to myself, I need to maintain a little bit of energy for the game. And I remember once we got on stage, once the lift came up and we hear the sound, and I see there was the scene of the stage was like a little dark after like a second, after a while. And many people took their phones out and put the flash on, and they were like moving their phone in like just moving motion slowly. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like I cannot ask for a better thing than this. Playing CS on that stage, and the stage in Lisbon was really loud compared to the numbers actually. I feel like it was one of the loudest stages I've been on.
Yeah, there was only like 3,000 people there, but you would have thought it was way more. They were loud.
It was such like good build in the acoustic, like I don't know, someone did a really good job there. It was just really loud. It was really nice. The Portuguese fans are always like really loud in this sense, and I love it. And wow, I was worried when I came into this game. I think we even beat them the first map on the stage, and I was like, damn, like what? And I didn't play good, I was just in my own thoughts. I didn't think so proper, so focused. I wasn't sharp in my brain, but I was just, my visual focus went beyond the monitor just to look at the stage, Yeah,
what can you actually see there? Somebody that's never stepped foot actually in a booth, maybe I should try and do that just before they're tearing the stage down.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I've never, but then the crowd wouldn't be there. How much can you actually hear? B, how much can you see?
Yeah, so with A, how much can you hear? You just hear the applause, sort of like the like when, and if someone is behind and stuff like that.
Yes.
My teammates always claimed that you can also hear the AG bomb, like the AG when it pops on the stage. Okay. So when I throw a grenade and it pops, you hear like a boom. But I never heard this kind of stuff. And usually you just hear like how the stage reacts, like cheers up, like Navi. That's what I heard in this game. When we lost, when we won, doesn't matter, just Navi. Oh, no. And but it was mainly like you just hear the volume of the crowd, and most of the time it's just the same thing. Like, it's just, and then someone getting knifed. It goes like, in this game I remember I knifed, and I never thought about it when I was playing, like about the stage before that moment. But when I knifed electronic once, I just remember I'm expecting the crowd to scream. And then they started screaming, and I was really happy with it. But, and then eventually later on, after Lisbon and stuff like that, I started hearing more and more and understanding what sort of it means as well.
Yeah, I guess the tone of what kind of noise is
Sometimes
coming,
people unlock knife and you're like in freeze time and you okay, what is happening, you know? and for the B, what do you see? I usually wear glasses for long term, for long vision.
Yes.
So like when I drive, I put on my glasses, stuff like that. And with the time, I started putting them more and more everywhere because I don't like to see people just blurry, and they're saying hello to me, and I have no idea what the fuck who is saying hello with his hands. I have no idea who you are. The first game, and I don't play CS with glasses, and I came on stage, and my monitor was just down enough to see the crowd, but just the people at the top, you know, the top rows.
Oh wow.
So but I didn't see what they're doing, my eyes, and I was getting a big headache from just looking, and some people are blurry, some people are less blurry. Monitor is normal, you know. I was getting really annoyed that why am I seeing some people like maybe I need to play with glasses. I remember second map I'm trying to put on the glasses, and you know the headphones are really big, they're really strong, and I was like, man, no way. I take the glasses off, and then and later on, you know, with some stages you see more of the people next to you. In Copenhagen, you know, in the Royal Arena, they're just right next to you, they're in front of you. So there you are, like, you see them. And then obviously sometimes you see like flags, countries, you see some like Vitality fans, Astralis booth of fans, so stuff like that. But your focus in the game, once I sort of left the I'm nervous, I don't know what to do spot, then you start saying like, you look at it only when you're like happy, you know, when you're like in the game and you're like, this game is so good. Then you look at the stage to just remind you how nice it is.
Yeah.
But usually your focus is just Counter-Strike, clutches, teammates, help my team. There's not really a moment when you're on stage. And also stage game run really quick, especially in CS2. You don't really have time to think, especially in the major when it was 30 seconds and stuff like that. You don't even have the time to like take a breathe, you have to help your teammates. You die, you instantly have to communicate for your teammates because to help them, because on stage it's a lot of sounds. So you don't really look so much for other stuff. Sometimes I would have like a moment that I look at the cameraman or like they're just next to us all the games. I would look at them and try to get some good pictures. But then other than that, I'm usually Counter-Strike, teammates.
I've got a question for that because I've noticed you do it. As you just said, you know, when you see the cameras on you, like Carrigan does it famously. There's a few players that know how to play with the camera. Is it when you see the red light above the camera that you know it's pointing at you, or are you just going for it and hoping that they're cutting to you?
Actually, I didn't. I think in Blast or some tournaments I see a camera when it's red. It makes sense for me that
it's
recording.
Yeah.
I think in ESL I don't see them. I don't notice them.
I didn't know whether you were thinking about that or whether you just see a camera and think it must be rolling, it must be airing, right?
The thing is, it has some context. So I would look at a cameraman and I don't know, they would always point to me. Like I have a friend of mine which is a cameraman. I don't know like why and how we got into this relationship, but every time the camera is live, he's just showing me like a thumbs up. And I understand that it's recording live. But if it's like another tournament or just the cameraman is different, I think usually you just understand that it looks at you because there is nothing else it could look at. You know what I mean? Especially on stage, like, you know, let's say ESL Poly, you have a lot of skits that you show, and some IEM tournaments, a lot of media is recorded, but there is many tournaments that I'm just like, you know, it's just, I don't know, a technical pause, there is nothing to do. They cannot show now. You know, Freya, you interviewing Nico.
That's so interesting that you're thinking about that. I've always wondered whether that was something that you're kind of cognizant of. Just going back to Lisbon as a tournament, you said you actually felt some nerves, you're rising up in the elevator, holy shit, this is the moment I've been working towards for, you know, my career. Then you get into the game. Was there like a certain number of rounds that it took you to kind of relax those nerves, or do you feel like it was just the whole time?
Since I was young, every new experience in my life, I couldn't eat before that. You know what I mean? Like I had like not eating disorder, but just I wouldn't have an appetite.
Yeah, totally.
But all the day long. So let's say, you know, first time going out with a girl, stuff like that. I wouldn't eat anything. I wouldn't be able to eat.
Really?
Yeah, and it started in school and slowly, you know, and I just remember that this day, 2 days before that, so we qualified to, you know how it is in Blast, like you win 2 games and you're in the semis and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
And then the people that lost those first 2 games, they have game for the quarterfinals and then game for, so you have basically 2 days off. You win the second game, 2 days off, Blast semifinal.
Yes.
And this day, these 2 days, after we made the semifinal, I was like, I just didn't have the appetite to eat. And Vladi, the manager back then, she tried to sort it out, but I told her like, I was really in between myself and I, you know, just thinking and when we went on stage, then I don't know, like, do you have a driver license?
I don't, no.
Okay.
I live in London.
You don't need it, yeah.
But I'm quite an anxious person, so I don't actually trust myself to drive, which sounds fucking
Really?
crazy. Yeah, no, I don't trust myself to be at the wheel. Hell no. You know the carnage that would ensue for that?
But I would say that this is the least worrying. I don't trust other people when I'm with them and they're on the wheel. Because some people drive like crazy. But
no, somebody else can do it. Someone else can do it. You can. It's your fault for getting an accident.
But it's really scary, right, at the start.
Yeah.
So for the same, you know, I would be behind the wheel and people are driving next to me, and it's not just a slim hit in the back, like you might die if they, you know. And I remember on my driving exam, I was really not stressed, but I was just like, you know, I don't feel as comfortable as I was in the driving lessons and so on, and obviously.
Yeah.
And I remember I came to the exam, I put my hands on the wheel, and I'm just free of, so I'm just really relaxed. And this was the same in CS always for me. So I was really stressed before like the big games, but once I hit and I click, mouse 1 clicks and I shoot, and it's an official game, then I was really relaxed. But the issue with that was that I didn't eat before that, so I could go really well for the 5-10 rounds, but then I need, you know, food is energy, fuel.
Yeah.
So I was just like really tired after a while. And then my teammates really needed me because, you know, in OG I used to talk a lot, and then my teammate really needed me, and I was just lacking there, you know. And I remember there was a certain time in Lisbon that it was second map on Inferno, I think, or third map on Inferno, and I had like a Kit Kat, and I said to myself, I need to eat it because I just need to push 5 rounds. If I can get 5 rounds in, we're good. And I remember I had the Kit Kat like right next to my mouth. I put it in my mouth. I take a bite and I'm like, no, I cannot swallow it because I would vomit. Like,
really?
Yes,
oh
I was, and then I don't think it was a technical pause, but maybe the halftime break, 3 minutes, and I said to myself, I will vomit it, and disgustingly, I took the paper, I took the anti-stat paper and I just spit it out there. But I told myself, you know, I just couldn't swallow. I was too stressed. I thought I'm gonna vomit.
Wow.
So and then when we lost it, I still didn't have an appetite, like after we lost the semi-final. But the amount of people who were like supporting, sort of, you know, when you walk around the stage and people are like photo, it made me feel like relieved, like a slight relief, just because we're finished with that amount of stress, and it made me like just accept that I am gonna be really nervous before the stage games. On the stage, I'm not gonna be nervous so much. I'm gonna be really calm, but I need something to sustain me. So I need to force myself to do something with energy. If I cannot eat a proper meal, I have to eat like 11 bananas or something. You know, when I was young, I remember that I used to eat cherry tomatoes.
Yes.
But I used to eat cherry tomatoes. I used to eat like 50, 60, 70. I don't care. And that was my not escaping, but my cheat, you know, like if I feel nervous, cherry tomatoes are tasty. I like cherry tomatoes. I would eat cherry tomatoes.
You trust them. They're
Yes.
not going to fuck with you.
Yeah. And they didn't. But in Portugal, I didn't find no cherry tomatoes. So I was like, damn.
Like, how do you then get yourself out of that mental block of like, okay, you've obviously, you know, you've got this issue with like you just, you know, not in your stomach.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to go in. Did that come about the next tournament that you did?
So the next tournament, Rio Major 2022.
Okay.
First major we make it into, and Brazil is crazy. Like you just fly there, and you land in the airport, and I remember I'm like, bro, this country is already like there's so much energy.
Yes.
Like you just obtain energy just from looking at people. Like everybody's, you know, you walk outside from the airport, people are dancing. You know, it seems really like you're in a vacation spot. You know.
Yeah. It's a vibrant place.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah. And that tournament, the challenger stage, because there was so much crowd, they gave the stream A crowd, and it was 4,000 people.
Yes.
Maximum, but 4,000 people, usually like 3,000, 2,000.
And they're loud, so it sounds like 10K.
Yes,
It's mad.
and it was a really small stage, and you could hear it back in the B stream in the studio, you could hear it, and I was like, and we played there, and we play Fnatic, and I don't play so good, but I play okay. And then, I don't eat so much, but I remember I was eating more, I wasn't as stressed, because you wouldn't know if you're playing on the stage or not.
Yes.
So it was less of a worry. And the second game we played against the Mongols on studio, I owned them. Third game, studio again, I completely owned them. Second game against Furia, I'm not playing good, and it's on stage. And then third and fourth studio, I play good. Then stage game against Vitality, 2-2 to qualify into the Legend stage. Vitality, always a hard opponent with Zyro on the team. And we always face them in those important matches, and I'm like, you know, it's gonna be tough. This day is gonna be tough. I don't eat as much, and I don't play as good as I would want, but I don't play that bad. I was there with vocally. I was there. I was giving energy, but I don't shoot so good, which was my thing. You know, I would try to help my team the most by shooting good and less energy back then.
Yeah.
And I remember this. After this game, I just didn't give so much thought into it because I was like, you know, Vitality were a tough opponent. I did my share of energy. I didn't really reflect on it as well as I could have done.
Yeah.
And then it was okay. It started being more balanced, and I said to myself, as you said, after that, would it happen again? I don't think so. And then Blast Abu Dhabi, 2022. I don't remember who we beat. We get into the semifinals against Liquid. It's a really close match, and I'm really drained with energy. I didn't eat before that. It was I sleep well. I do everything past that really good, but I didn't do good. And I didn't do good on stage. We lose to Liquid in overtime, really close match. We win the first map, which was their map pick.
Yeah.
Bro.
I remember that one.
What am I doing? I could, if I win this, if I just play slightly better, we go into the finals against G2. And I don't know what's gonna happen there, but at least we break through this semi-final. And I was just in my brain, in my thoughts, and I go to my room, and I go to the prac room, and I decided to open a docs. So I open a drive folder, and I type everything I should do for 2023. Everything I should do. So what could assist me, what could give me 1% help against the stress? And I had no idea. So I talked with my psychologist, and if he sort of gave me the brief of that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough for me in the player break. So Abu Dhabi, player break, and then it starts. In that player break specifically, I was like, okay, I need to do something. I need to learn, because CS is my life, and it's going to be my life for the next few years.
Yes.
I don't know, as long as everything is going to stay the same.
Yeah.
I need to master a bit of what I like. And I've always liked how I think, how humans are in thinking. So I go into YouTube and I start listening to podcasts, like me and you, in a setting of 2 couches. He sits with some guy, with a neuroscientist, for example, and he has 50 people on the crowd. He has a camera recording them, and they're basically talking, and people are asking them questions, and sort of like that, and many of those videos. And then he talks about how do you reach consistency in life, and in something that you want to perform in, and he mainly says you need to be consistent outside of it. And I wasn't consistent outside of it. I used to sleep 5 hours if I didn't care, because I used to just be fuck the sleep. I'm just gonna do my thing. I'm gonna enjoy the night with people on TeamSpeak.
Yeah.
Play some more Faceit. Wake up, no breakfast. The food isn't gonna be so good. And the video of 7 minutes, and it talks just about that you need to wake up, maybe sort your bed out, get some breakfast in, help your brain, give your body energy from the first half of the day.
Yeah.
And I remember in the player break, I kept adding things to this folder. I kept adding more that I knew. And then I bought some books and of many people around the world. And I used to talk with people that were professional, like Nico and stuff like this in events.
Yeah.
And sort of trying to gain more of their experience, how it is, how they deal with it. And then I was 2023, January, and I was I remember we finished the player break at 12th of January, but 12th of January, we're already traveling to a boot camp. So we basically, to a boot camp, and then 1 week after, it's Blast spring
The groups,
the group stage. But we are practicing a lot, and I was waking up every day, going to breakfast, trying to have like a really good routine, not giving myself so much enjoyment. So I
Yeah.
jumped into that instantly instead of like slowly, step by step. And I remember I was really burned out after like 7 days. I told my team, guys, we have a tournament right now. We just beat Liquid, but I'm so tired. And then I remember, there obviously talks like, why we just the month off. It was really like, wasn't the talk I was expecting back then. But it was also valuable because I just jumped into like something new and I expected it to work instantly instead of like slowly giving myself time to adjust.
Yeah.
But I said to myself like this routine, I feel like I'm dealing with the stress really well. I'm getting more consistent. And that was the only thing that, even outside people used to talk about that. Just Flamez was really good, but just he isn't consistent. In the big games, it fails. And I was like, I always wanted to break through that because I knew that if, it just feels like a breakthrough to go to, like, start having a good game on stage, and I always wanted it. Until June, there is no stage games for us. We fail every playoff qualification, no blast events. I was like, man, this is tough. I basically started the routine. I'm sustaining it for 6-5 months, and we're not even on stage. Not even a small stage like
You
this.
don't even get a chance to try
Yeah.
out because there's none there. Yeah, fuck.
Boy, it was tough. And then around June, there is rumors, and I remember people start talking about me leaving OG. And many rumors, maybe he's joining Vitality, maybe he's joining this. Loads of shit, loads of things online. And then I was telling myself, well, it's gonna be good because I'm gonna join a team and make sure I just try one time on stage. And Vitality knocking the door. Next stage is IEM Cologne, the first stage after that.
Oh my
IEM Cologne,
God,
18,000
okay.
people, I don't know how much.
Fuck.
That was tough. And luckily I joined the team with loads of experience. Magisk, Zonic, Apex, Zaiwu even, they just won the major, these guys. And I feel everybody's talking really well, everybody's like giving me confidence, And the team behind, like, so the staff, Lars, the psychologist, Zonic, assistant coach Matt, like everybody just kept giving support. And I felt like there is no pressure for me because I was just telling them, I sort of just threw the pressure away from me by telling them, guys, I'm not gonna do good because I'm just stressed out. And that's how I came on stage. I remember the walk-ins in Cologne were terrifying. I was like, man, what
That was where you had to line up on the stage, right?
Yes,
And it was a spotlight,
yes, and we missed it. And but it was so hard and so tough to go on this stage. But I remember my teammates were just kept giving me like proper words, like, it's not gonna be easy. You need to deal with it. You need to fight through that. But I knew the day is gonna be good when I ate in the morning. I had a good breakfast and I had a good lunch. So I knew that my routine worked out, in a sense. I knew that all the year learning and adjusting and changing micro stuff to fit me more did me well. And we're going on Cologne quarterfinal against Cloud9, which they're the super team back then. Like they come in, they get Perfecto, Electronic. The team is cracked. Everybody's scared. Exile is coming instead of Buster, and Exile is saying on stage, we're going to overpower
that was
them.
his first game, right?
Yeah.
Back with them. Gosh,
And Exile is saying like, we're going to overpower Vitality with me. And I was like, man, I don't care. I'm first time I come on stage and I'm like, I don't feel hungry. I don't feel like tired. I'm just going to come and enjoy this. Like, I have great people behind me. I'm just gonna come and have fun. And I have insane game. I just play really well. I communicate. And then there I slowly started figuring out like how to deal with like the stage stuff, which was mainly just sleep well and eat well. And like and not even like, like we're not, I wasn't even like having an athlete lifestyle, like I was eating chicken nuggets every time, it's this sort of lifestyle, but it still worked out just to sleep good enough. And that was my moment of like, yeah, this was tough the first 6 months because you've been trying, but this was also something that helped you. And like my family is very religious, and my mom always used to say to me that every challenge that you get, it's God that gives you that, and it's just you can only learn from that. Like it just challenges you to get you better in life.
Yeah.
And I remember telling to myself like, to the OG period that we didn't really do anything. Well, it's just God testing me. At some point it's gonna come. I wasn't sad after we lost. I was just upset, but I was just still the same like kid running around with a smile on my face, and just happy to be in a tournament.
Yeah.
And then when we get into the stage in Cologne, I was like, I talked back to myself, as you said, the time capsule, and I was saying to myself like, this was worth every moment of it, because I'm enjoying the stage right now. I'm just making semifinals. I'm going to play against ENS, which I think I'm the favorite, so we're going to win. And they bullied us, but you know what I mean. I was just really happy to be there. But then I realized that moment in Abu Dhabi, that failure, gave me like a slap in the face to like, boy, you can do something with it. Don't just let your nerves get in. Don't let your nerves get into you and just tell yourself it's like nerves. I actually try to do something. So just a little bit, you know, you 10 minutes YouTube video and you get into some new lifestyle that might get you more of what you like, which was the stage back then.
Yeah, no, and it's not going to be an instant change, obviously. It's like one of those things where it can become a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're like, okay, because I haven't eaten, because I haven't slept, I'm going to do shit on stage. And it's like, no, you just need to change those first couple of motions, and then it's almost like a placebo effect, right? Like it probably is helping in some way, but it's not the sole reason why you're going to do good on stage. Yeah. You're a good player, but you just need that mental...
Like the breakthrough, the little thing that tells you I can do that.
Exactly.
As you said, placebo, it's placebo.
Yeah.
You give yourself enough confidence to believe, well, I'm good enough, you know, I did it properly, and then you go really well with that.
Okay, we're going to lock in Lisbon.
Tell me on Instagram the messages of the... Sort of like a brief to that, I don't read them.
You didn't read them?
No, because I hate, also in interviews, I hate reading I want the questions to surprise me. Because if I know them, and I have like a question, it's not going to be a proper answer that I'm like, you know, I want to think about them in the moment of answering them, and I don't like just like, you know...
like instant reaction.
Yes, the most humane reaction, because if you tell me like, I'm going to ask you how was this and this in your life, I can make a really good answer, but it's just going to be like, probably politically correct, probably like
it's
just for the fans, you know. Instead of instead of being authentic, like so every interview I did, I just never read the questions. Like I try to be the most basic level of understanding. Just, you know, you ask me questions now, so
next
I don't know the items. Yeah,
one song that you would put in this time capsule.
One song. One song. Actually, I'm. You know, my teammates, you know what a worm in the ear is?
Yeah.
So when you listen to, when you have like a song that plays out in your head over and over.
It's stuck in there all
Yes,
the
so
time.
my teammates call me, I'm the worm. Because I just sing every day I wake up and there is a new song in my brain. Hebrew, English, everything. It could be Spanish for like, and I always, there is so many songs, you know, in my playlist, and I actually don't know. I will just say, I usually would go with Eminem, but right now I'm listening to an Israeli song in Hebrew, so, and it's called Love.
Okay.
It's just called Love. But the singer is really, I like his voice, so I will just say Love by Osher Cohen.
Are you a big like lyrics man? Do you listen to lyrics and actually think about them, or is it more like the beat that you're going for?
Both of them, but there is a song that I like because of his lyrics, but most of the songs, I actually have no idea what they say. Like, even in my language, in English, I have no idea what they're saying. They're speaking so fast, the accent is different. So I like the beat. I just like how some words enter my brain, and, you know, sort of like that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of two sides. Like, I'm very much a person that I will listen to a song 20 times on repeat, get the lyrics into my head, I know all the words off by heart, I resonate with the words, like, that's when I'm obsessed. But then I think I need to become more of like you know, when people just put on background music and I'm like, yeah, this is really nice. It doesn't have to be that deep.
Yeah,
it literally doesn't have to be that deep.
No, but I feel like music is so independent, like so dependent on the person. So I really like when some people are like, you as you said, they get into the lyrics and stuff. And some songs I get into the lyrics. Other songs I just listen to. I had a period in time that I kept listening to UK drill.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I cannot understand anything they say, you know, in South London.
I can't even understand.
Yeah, it's really hard. And I used to just listen, and I used to go into the lyrics on YouTube and try to imitate them, try to like actually say what they're saying, but wow,
it's so fast. Yeah. I think drill is just like
they're shooting words.
It's mad.
And even that's the thing, when English people, when I showed it to Mighty Max, to Mantu back then, which is from England, and people don't understand what they say, I was like, man, no way I'm gonna understand what they say the first time. But I tried to get to know the lyrics just to get my accent a bit a bit better, but boy, it was tough. English slang, and I remember Mantu gave me a song which was from Newcastle, like some,
Okay.
and the accent in Newcastle, like North England, is really tough.
Where it's all over the place.
Yes. So
It's
I was like, yeah.
I think we've got the most disparity in accents, considering how small England is. And I'm not even including Scotland or
Yeah.
Wales in this. That's their own thing going on. But like north to south to Midlands.
You have so many.
What the fuck's going
It's
on?
so impressive that you guys can pick up so fast on the accents as well. Like,
Oh, like know where someone's
yeah.
from. Yeah,
Also
yeah,
from New
yeah.
Zealand, like I remember me and Mezzi just watched like a few days ago, like guess the accent. And you know, there is
okay.
people from New Zealand, Australia, Melbourne, like different accents. So you have a country like Australia, and William just understands where the accent, what city the person is from, and I'm like, it's
In
so-
Australia?
like not in Australia, but mainly England.
Okay,
or like
yeah, yeah,
Ireland.
yeah.
And I'm like, well, how do you remember? Or also like American accents, like this is Southern, this is this. And I'm like, it's so impressive for me that you guys can pick up so fast what accent.
I've never thought about that. I've never thought, why do I know that
Yeah.
person's a Scouser?
Yeah,
This
exactly.
person's from Newcastle.
Because
this
I'm
is
telling
Midlands.
William, like, what, have you talked with a guy from New Zealand once, and then you just remember it all your life, like, because they sound different between themselves, you know?
Yeah.
But he says it should sound like Australian accent with a little bit of this and this. So that's how I remember it. And then I'm like, how do you hear the difference between an Australian person and a UK and an American? And slowly, with time, I understood that American, they just have, you know, water. They speak like
Yeah.
water.
Oh God,
They-
I'm
they-
so bad at accents.
And English is more
Water.
Yeah,
Drop
exactly.
the T. Drop the T's. Yeah.
Yes.
You can do that.
And that's easy. But
But you do a good English Daniel
I
Jackson.
lost
Your
it.
alter ego.
I lost this ability
No.
because I joined the French roster.
Oh.
French people don't support the English. You know. Also for you, I assume for you that because you're exposed to so many like not native English speakers in your job, with them your English becomes a little worse in a sense. Like you adjust your English just for them to understand you.
Yes, I've definitely done this. I've definitely gone home to my dad and he's just been like, why did you put... So obviously you'll know with French people, in French you would say the chair grey instead of the grey chair. Like
Yeah.
you'd say that.
Yeah.
I've definitely found myself doing that. My
Yeah.
dad's been like, what? Like,
Yeah.
you have an English degree. Like speak properly. I'm like, oh my God, it's just all the different cultures. that
Yeah,
enter.
it just goes into your brain.
Yeah.
And I just adapt off that. I was in OG. People spoke English pretty well. Valde, Danish Nico, Mantu.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I go into a French organization. I can try though. My name is no. I changed by the way. I'm not Daniel anymore. I just say Michael. I lost the ability.
Michael?
Yeah, I forgot
Okay.
about Daniel. So hey, my name is Michael. No, here I wanted to say Daniel. Wait, let me try. Hey, my name is Daniel Jackson. I'm from the west coast of England. But in the past, it used to be way better. It used to be way more smooth.
You've got the West Coast.
West Coast is
West
good?
Coast, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Daniel Jackson.
Daniel Jackson.
Daniel
Yeah, I need to.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
No, you can't be Michael Jackson.
If at night after 2 a.m. I get into it really well.
Yeah?
Like yeah. I'm currently my neighbors are from. I have two neighbors and they're from Manchester, and they're two 19-year-old kids. Boy, and it's so funny listening to them. So we play ping pong and stuff like that, and I'm just talking with them. We're just waffling, you know. But it's really nice to get the accent back, a bit of like the English taste back in my life. But yeah, I lost this ability just because vitality. And also the old OG, Dexter, Fico, Neo Frag, people from Czech, Russia, you know, the
Yeah.
accents just all over the world. The English is pretty...
And Mezzi's got a very different accent from someone on the South Coast.
Yeah.
He's Midlands through and through.
He's
like it's very
Birmingham.
warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Birmingham accent is like I feel very assured when I speak to him.
Yeah?
I'm comforted.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever going to go wrong.
But you know,
'cause you're
say
talking.
luck.
Luck.
Yeah, okay, so you say luck. The U is just goes up.
Yeah.
He says luck. Like,
Look.
they say, like, you know, bug. You know, like when you have a bug on the wall?
Yeah,
He says
bug.
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 Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's an ooh.
And I'm like, speak English, mate. You know, speak properly.
Speak the Queen's English.
Yeah, the Queens.
Okay, we somehow managed to get there from a song. We're locking in, what was it, Love by, what was the artist?
Osher Cohen. It's
Osher
a
Cohen.
Israeli guy.
Okay, we're locking that in.
Okay, English one, I would take.
Okay.
Wait, I'm gonna pull my playlist because
Yeah, do it.
I have a song, but I don't know the singer. But it's like a. Okay, so I'm gonna give 2 English songs, okay?
Oh, go for it.
So, what was this one? I Am Good by Abstract Rose Drama Rose Drama Battalion, whatever it is. And this one I just like the lyrics. It's an uncommon song, and I really like the lyrics. They're talking about how we came from the bottom, you know. And then let me check more. Okay, and Smooth Operator and Skyfall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Skyfall.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Let
okay.
the sky fall. I love this song.
It's got a crescendo in it, hasn't it? Did you
Yeah.
watch the Bond movie to go along with Skyfall? 'Cause it's
No, I
from-
didn't know it was related to James Bond. I was just
Interesting.
watching it. Yeah.
It was like the theme tune. Adele,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
Adele.
Adele.
Yeah. It
I
was
didn't
the
know.
theme tune.
Someone recently told me that it's related to James Bond.
Yeah,
but
it's a James Bond movie called Skyfall. That's the intro song.
Yeah?
And the opening credits are phenomenal. Like,
I didn't-
You should
I-
watch it. You should watch it because it
but
makes that song
I've-
even better.
I'm really behind in movies. I didn't watch Harry Potter. Like I didn't
I
watch.
haven't watched Harry Potter
I-
either.
yeah?
I've never met someone who hasn't watched
You're
Harry
the first
Potter.
person. Yeah.
Everybody hates us. Everyone's
Yes?
like, why haven't you watched
you
it?
watched?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't.
Star Wars. Did you watch?
I have watched Star Wars.
Okay, so
through
I
my
didn't.
Dad. You watched Star Wars? Okay,
So
interesting.
basically, when I was young, I was always on the PC. I couldn't be asked to just sit and watch a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Just sit and do nothing. I felt like I'm such a useless entity in the world for that moment, for that period of time. So I just didn't watch movies. I kept watching anime series because
Okay.
they were like 15 minutes. It was really short time. I could
Digestible,
do like play on the side, watch like do homework on the side, whatever I need to do. Homework certainly I didn't do, so I kept going into like less time or maybe series on Netflix, but just Prison Break. That's the only thing I watched.
One item from your childhood. We've locked 3 songs in. So something from your childhood that you think resonates with you and you'd want to put in the time capsule.
I would say something from my childhood was just, my mom is really social, and I was always annoyed how social she was. Like she would go in a shop and she would test out like shoes, and she was just, everybody was walking in a radius of like 5 meters from her. Yeah, what do you think about the shoes on me? You know, she was really social. And I used to get annoyed from that because I was like, Mom, you're embarrassing us. And then at some age, I just remember that I went and I thought to myself, this is amazing. You know, this ability to have a conversation with a guy you never met before, a woman, whatever it is, you know, and you talk with them and you start a conversation. You might even like get like to know them better.
Yeah.
This ability is amazing. Just getting close to humans and really like in a chill environment, not even like you want to get close to them. Just like, you know, because humans, we see how the shoes are on you, and everybody can say if they like it or not, and you can go off that opinion. And I remember I used to hate this, and then at some point for my childhood, this went on, and I started being really social with people. So whenever I saw like anyone, I just used to come forward and speak with them, even if I had no idea what to talk with them about. Just try to have like a good laugh in the day, and then I think when I started being poor, many people told me about that it might be too much because we're a team, but I'm talking with other teams, but I really like this about
Okay, yeah.
But
That's interesting.
OG didn't like it because we used to go to we went one time into a mall to go shopping as a team, like shopping, but you know, just going to the mall,
Browsing, yeah.
getting
Window
ice cream,
shopping.
yes. And we just lost touch, me and my team, and I found like two grandfathers. So their two wives were like in a shop buying clothes, and I just kept walking with them, and I was with them for like 2 hours, and then I found my team in the mall, and I'm like, yo, meet these guys, you know, and they didn't like it, but it was also a point that I got more confidence in it, because, you know, just meeting people, sadly, like, I shouldn't leave my team, you know, in a mall, but sometimes it was really refreshing for me to just find new people that I can talk with for like 2 or 3 hours, maybe even share all my life story with them, I don't care, but it just feels so fresh, so new, you know, so it used to give me like a lot of confidence that I can approach people and speak with them and sort of get them to even like, to even speak about themselves.
Yeah.
But that was only for my mom, and that was the childhood moment was her, you know, checking her shoes and just telling people, yo, what do you think about these shoes? And I was, that had a big effect in how I am right now, how my approach is to like social environments.
That's so interesting. I was definitely the same way, because if my mom ever said that, I'd just be like, no one cares. Like, why are you even asking these people? But like, you're not putting anybody in any harm by doing that.
People even like that.
Yeah.
People even like that because I remember I saw a research that if people interact with a stranger, it usually goes their chances of being happy in that day was more useful.
Yeah.
And I remember reading that was like, and I don't know if it's true, I might have read it on some bullshit website, right? But again, the placebo effect, like, you know, when I talk with strangers, I feel like they would be happier, I would be happier. And it's true, it doesn't harm anyone. People are like imagine if we're in a shop and I ask you, yo, what do you think about my shoes? I don't know what you might think, but you might think that I think you have really good style in shoes and stuff like that. I don't know, it might be like a hidden compliment.
Yeah. No, that's so true. And you're not exactly like, I mean, it's not even necessarily trying to elevate someone's day. It's just like, you're not causing them any issue. They're in the shoe shop too. They're thinking about the shit, and they maybe even looked at you and thought, oh, fresh kicks, you know? Like, they look pretty fire.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I've definitely had to learn that over, I think, I don't know about like the area where you grew up in, but in the UK, sometimes if people come up to you, like in London particularly, got your headphones on all the time on the tube, no one speaks to each other, people only talk to each other if they want something. And I grew up in that environment, which is really toxic, because actually, no, sometimes people just want to start a conversation. They're not being weird, they're not going to try fucking mug you or anything like that. Like, there's nothing negative about it. But it's growing up in an environment where that's kind of instilled in you.
Recently, it becomes the more young generation, so my age, sort of, a lot of in-ears and headphones and stuff like that. But when I grew up, you talk with everybody, you talk with the grandfather and you talk with the father, and you know this guy and this person and this person and this auntie that lives by the hill. And you talk with everybody, you know, everybody's really warm. So there is a lot of like, you know, you go to your friend's house, and his mom wants to impress you with the food from Iraq, you know. So it's sort of like you get to know people through many experiences of their culture. And if you're just on a setting in a mall or like in a, I don't know, on a metro, wherever you are, on a plane, usually it has been more openness, conversations compared to what I saw when I started traveling to Europe. In Europe it was way more, people who are more laid back, people are way more, I would say even respectful, because in Israel, people would just like go into your privacy, you know, like you might do your own thing and people are gonna be like bothering you, but it never bothered me. And in Europe it's just way less. Or in England, I've never been into England yet. Soon, I'm excited. But William told me I'm not gonna like this part in the UK.
Oh no, it's completely the opposite. It's like, why are you talking to me? You're a weirdo. What do you want? Like, which is so bad. When I went to Jordan a couple of months ago, and that was the thing that struck me the most, was people, obviously it's sort of semi-touristy, but
people are so warm, right?
People are so open. We went to some guy's house, we went to Wadi Rum, which is like a big, big desert area, and we wanted to have a fire underneath the stars, and because it wasn't, super high season, it was quite difficult to find. And then we found some random guy when we were having a coffee, who had a campsite, and he was like, yeah, sure, you can come around. But come to my house first. Come meet my dad, come meet my mom, come meet all my siblings. Even if you don't do anything, just come for some tea and have a chat. And we ended up telling him about esports. The kid was really into games, and it's just something that is so foreign to me, which is such a negative thing about European culture. Like, I would
there is
never
less
go to
trust,
someone's
right?
house.
But also all the Middle East like this. I feel like I feel like every country I've been in the Middle East, Dubai and Abu Dhabi less, because a lot of people are just like they're not really originally like from like they're not Emirates.
A lot of expats.
So but like when, I remember I messaged you when you were in Jordan. You posted the Dead Sea.
Yes.
And I messaged you, are you in Israel right now? And then you wrote to me like, I'm in Jordan. We're doing this and this and this. And I was like, Jordan, I think people from Jordan, Egypt, and Lebanon are like really, like, I don't know much, like, well, there are some other countries that I just don't have it in my head, or people I never met, right? But in the Middle East, it's so weird, because you would think to yourself that it's, like, I used to play with many CS players from Lebanon, and like, I was even in a team with two Lebanese players.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, I feel like we're on the same energy. We're very vocal, we're very warm people.
Yeah.
Very like, come to my house, drink some, we have the best coffee, you know. My mom makes the best coffee, the best tea.
On the same vein, what is a meal or food that you'd put in? Because you always post fire Middle Eastern food on your Instagram story.
I think, I don't know how to say it in English even. My family came from Morocco, so my grandmother and grandfather, both of them from each side, my mom and father's side, they're all born in Morocco.
Oh, wow.
So every Friday is couscous, which I really like.
Ooh.
Couscous with their soup and, you know, this kind of stuff.
Nice.
And I don't know how to say it, but kubo, I don't know how to...
How do you spell it?
It's, I don't know, I will show you a picture of it. I don't think you even know, but it's food
No,
from...
I've never heard of
it's food from Iraq. So, yeah. So I will show you that, but I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have any idea what is this. So it's basically this. Have you ever seen that?
No.
So it's basically wait.
Is it potato?
No, it's I will have a translation soon.
Oh, it's filled.
It's filled
yo.
it's filled with meat, but it's I don't know, not flour. I don't know how to call it even like.
It's like a pastry? It doesn't
Cuba
look like a pastry.
oval meat-filled grain patties.
Oh, right, okay, so it's kind of like it's like a soft shell.
It's a soft shell,
Yeah.
and there is meat inside that, and quality meat. The people from Iraq do it with,
Yeah.
and they make a certain soup that you bring it with, and usually everyone eats like 6, 5, but it's really tasty, so you eat like 7, 8, 9, you don't care. And my grandmother used to make these a lot, and I used to love it. I used to always come and just enjoy this, like couscous, this. There are more, but less. I'm really complicated with food. Like,
Yeah.
eventually, I think every teammates that I had will share those stories, but I'm really complicated with food.
Okay.
Like with how I eat, with everything.
Like picky?
Picky, but also like I just eat food that makes me survive, and I don't care if it's. So I would eat pad thai 17 days in a row for lunch and dinner. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't need to change my diet, change up to feel more fresh. I wouldn't care.
Yeah, if you like it, if it
I like
fills
it.
you up.
Yeah, I like it. If I found a place I like, I will just eat as long as I stay there, right?
enough, yeah.
Denmark, Joe on the juice, but I'm
Oh, bro, just so good.
Yes,
so good.
yes.
What's your go-to, Joe in the juice?
avocado sandwich without
Yeah.
avocado.
Without wait. What?
Makes no sense, right? But
What's left in there?
mozzarella, tomatoes, pesto, and
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. Yeah.
but I recently added avocado, but yeah, I'm a big fan of like just eating something I like and then keep spamming it, keep eating it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does you good. What do you remember the first time you had it?
No,
grandma?
I don't remember. I just remember that my mom and my grandmother used to make it, and I remember I have a auntie from Iraq, and she, you know, every Friday we have a thing called Kiddush, the Shabbat, which is our holiday sort of.
Okay.
So we gather around the table. It's very family oriented. No phones, no electronics. You and your family, and the big family, not only you, mom, siblings, and dad.
For like everyone.
Grandmother, grandfather,
Cousins,
anything that
everything.
exists and wants to come. And she would make a big, how do you call it, like a big pot, you know what I mean? And there is gonna be loads of it, like big, when I'm telling you big, it's a size of like a small rock, like a small, but like a giant rock even, I would say.
Like one
Yes.
person couldn't hold it? Or
No.
you need two people?
You need two people, like, and it's a really big amount of soup, and they put these things inside, and it gets hot, it gets hot, it gets hot. And there is another food, but I don't know how to say it. It's called khamin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also from Morocco, I think. But everybody in the family just kept making them every Friday, Saturday. So I was just enjoying it, you know, I was just raised with it. So it's those meals that are family related, and you know,
Yeah.
the grandmother has her own recipe and this kind of stuff.
Did you ever physically make them yourself? Do you
No,
know how?
that's the thing that now I moved out on my own, and now I want to make them. And my mom said it's really complicated. Like, I'll have to show you, I'll have to come and show you.
Yeah, in person, yeah.
So I have a friend of mine that lives close to me, and he has a private chef. He's Yeah, he's a fancy guy. Yeah, fancy guy. He really likes like the fancy lifestyle, and he has a private chef, and he knows how to cook this. So I go there and I keep telling him like, "Whoa, please make it, and when you make it, call me. I will come and do it with you." So if he makes like certain things that I like, he would message me, "Yo, I'm making this today. If you want to come and watch how I make it." And if it's something simple, I FaceTime my mom. "Mom, how do I make a schnitzel?" You know, and then she would teach me. So.
Okay, so we're putting that's your food gone in. We've got 2 more categories.
Yeah.
You're a man that obviously frequently travels. So what is one travel essential that you're going to put in here that you couldn't travel without? Right
Passport.
Now? Passport.
Yeah.
That's not a one with a story, Flames.
Oh, you
Anything
know,
else?
actually, I don't have anything. I'm really disconnected to materials. Like, I don't care if I have. There is nothing like maybe the jerseys. I don't know. There is nothing. The only thing that I keep reminding me not to forget are my wallet, my passport, and my jersey.
I mean, they're the essentials.
And gear.
Yeah.
But something that used to be, I don't know. I guess my vitamin. I don't know. Actually, I have nothing that is like crazy. Like I don't have like a proper story. Like I bring this humidifier because I was once sick in Portugal. I don't have this. Usually I would. Oh, actually, okay. Maybe you got me there.
Here we go.
So, in my religion, in Judaism, we have a thing called the road prayer. So before you go and drive, or before you go travel, you read it. And I always have it in my luggage and in my wallet. And I always read before I go on a plane this prayer, and I always read this prayer before I start driving, and someone else is driving. You know, like every time I would just read it, and it's maybe like 20 seconds. Read it, move on with my day, and it's always with me in my luggage, my bag, and my wallet. So it has to be with me.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So, but it's not like it's just a small paper that tells me the lyrics, the text.
The lyrics.
Yeah, the text.
Like credit card size, easy fit.
Yeah,
in your
I think I have it in my wallet.
Do you actually have it right now?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have it in my wallet. I should have it in my wallet unless I will just give you an example. It's basically this size and just words.
Okay, for
Yeah.
context,
Yeah.
because this isn't a video podcast yet,
Yeah.
coming soon.
Just a small card. Yeah,
Small
credit card
cards,
size.
a business card size.
Yes, a business card
Ah,
size.
That's
And
interesting.
just-
When did you start doing that? Has that just always been...
Before my mom was driving when I was young, she used to keep reading from this, and I was like, you know, it looks cool. So I remember when I traveled, in the airport there is a section of religious material and stuff like that, and I just kept going there. Hey, can I get the road prayer? Yes, take sir, and then move on with my day. And then I just every time I would get one. Every time I would go to the airport, it would remind me to. Okay, I need to read it before I go on the plane.
Yeah.
Before the plane boards, right? It kept going like this, and now it's just like I wouldn't even say I feel safer with it. It's just a part of my routine before I go.
Just a habit, like brushing your teeth.
Yes,
you just
exactly.
do this thing as part of it. Are you somebody that enjoys flying? Any nerves about flying?
No, I
Or
don't
you
care
just
flying. Usually I sleep.
fine? Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yes.
Oh.
So Dubai to Australia, I slept 21 hours on the plane.
What?
It was
my
It was Portugal, Dubai, Australia. Which
Yeah.
was 21 hours. 8 hours, 20. And I slept all the flight, and my teammates were like, "Man,
Wow.
you're crazy." But
That was the worst flight. So I went to Perth for my best friend's wedding just before COVID kicked off.
Yeah.
And Dubai to Perth is like 9 hours, so it's not
Not
that
as
bad.
bad, yeah.
And then you add Sydney onto it, and that's an extra fucking 5. So you're on there for
Yeah.
14 hours.
what?
Horrific flight.
it's-
I can't sleep. The jet lag. How did you find Australia jet lag?
I had only one time in my life jet lag. I had it the first time we traveled to Australia with OG. It was for ASL Challenger, Melbourne. We lost the wings up after 2 days. We go back home.
Oh no.
So it was tough, but that was the first jet lag because I landed. I slept like 20 hours on the plane, so I wasn't tired at all. We landed at 2 a.m., which wasn't calculated smartly by me.
Oh,
And I said to myself, I'm going to the gym. So at 2 a.m. I went to the gym.
Bro, you gave yourself jet lag.
Yes.
Just gone to bed.
Yes, I went to the gym. I couldn't fall asleep. I was just too tired. I went to the gym and I just did everything that is draining. You know, I used to no water. Like I used to starve my body. I didn't care. And we woke up at and then I had to wake up at 10 for media day, I think. But all the night I just kept waking up. And I slept with Fico in the room. I shared a room with him. and Fico is crazy, put the AC on like 16 degrees, turbo. And boy, I was like, this tournament cannot get any worse. But that was the only time I was jet lagged. But even in IEM Sydney, this time I was not jet lagged. Dallas, I was not jet lagged. Brazil, I'm not jet lagged. I think it's pretty good.
It's kind of easier. I find it easy going to the US because you're.
It goes back, right?
Yeah, so it kind of makes you just fall asleep a little bit earlier,
Yeah.
whereas going forwards in
Forward.
time, it was like, well, it's 2 a.m., but it's 2 p.m. back home.
Yeah.
I ain't sleeping. There's no
Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
way.
That's true.
Yeah. Awful.
And Australia is just a mess. Like, you're just...
I was a shell of myself, but so was everyone else,
Yeah,
actually. So
yeah.
you turned up for me today, and it was like, oh, camera guys.
But it's so
falling
impressive how you
asleep.
guys... Because we play Counter-Strike, and we play it when we're tired, we play it when we're awake, we played it any time in the day. I played it every hour of the day. I already played Faces much in my life. So, but you guys, like, you guys are so talented. I remember in Dallas when I went on the desk with you and Yanko, I was like, you're so talented because even when you're tired and you don't get the best amount of sleep, and I see you guys sometimes, and you wake up at 9-7, and you guys are so sharp, and specifically you, I like you and Banks because you're always like so sharp. You always, in interviews, like let's say players are really, sometimes like, they don't find the best words.
Okay.
So it could be really awkward, but you save them so much. and I love it when I just watch an interview and the interviewer, so the answer someone gives you could be not the best answer, certainly, but you save it in a sense. Like you don't let it finish on a disappointing note or something. Like, you might share a story and you might be nervous on stage, or you might just not have an interesting story and basically it ends on something really not interesting for anyone to hear, but then Freya comes in and you just say...
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, in Dallas, because I went on stage to see the games, and I saw you
Yeah.
on the desk, and I heard you guys speaking, and I was like, it's so impressive that you guys are awake until like 5 a.m., probably jet lagged as well, finding the words. There is not a single moment of silence. There is always, and it, also what I like is that it doesn't sound like you don't understand anything. Because some games that I used to watch, I remember it used to sound like, well, the guy or the girl who is hosting this has no idea what the fuck they're saying. They're just talking bullshit, like they're, claiming stupid, like not giving the reasonings and stuff like that behind the stuff, and they just try to say stuff to not make it be awkward in the stream.
Yeah.
But you guys generally like, I don't know if it's script or whatever, but it's generally like, I remember putting the headphones in and the observer is telling, the caster or whatever, the producer is telling you like 4, 3, 2, you put the headset on, 1, zone in, get into that, and finish after like 20 minutes of talking straight and leading the conversation between Yanko, and also you understand the game, which is like, you do so much beyond it, beyond the just helping Yanko and Kassad interact between them and making it sound like family friendly for the crowd. And it's really like impressive. You and Banks, and also in Cologne they have different, they have AJ,
Yeah, AJ
CJ,
Borg. Yeah.
and in Katowice it's and Shox sometimes is the host.
Yeah.
So it's and I think you, Shox, Banks, AJ, obviously the ones you see the most on the host. It's really nice to just, because you guys do analyst, you do the desk, you do the hosting on the stage, and I didn't think about it. But I remember in Cologne, it was the grand final day. I went to the backstage with you guys because I had an interview, and I saw AJ, and he was talking to himself on the how do you say, mirror.
Yes.
And I was,
Yeah.
and he was like, I'm so stressed when I go on stage, and I forgot that you guys are also humans, because you're talking in front of 20,000 people, and it's really stressing, right? You go on stage and you have to put a show to make sure nobody in the crowd is bored with your words, and you might fuck up because the English, the language, and it's nerves.
Totally.
But you guys nail it always, and it's so weird to. I feel like you do it. You guys do it so well that is, and you don't let stuff like stress affects everybody, right? But you nail it so good compared to what I see in other games. I'm so happy with Counter-Strike because we have really good, even Frankie.
There's a lot of cool people,
Yeah.
really talented people. That's so funny that you say that, because I've always looked at it as okay, we get, I don't know how many segments we'll have in a day, say 20, depending on how many best of threes there are. Your job's way fucking harder because you only get one shot. If you don't nail it, you're out. Whereas me, I'm not saying this on other talent, but if I fuck up something, I know that I'm coming back next segment and I can, regroup, just say, okay, this is what went wrong. I still get another opportunity. Whereas you guys, it's one shot.
The thing is, it's
that's
very
it.
different for me because it's different like life things. Like you're really good at, because we will play the game, and it's Counter-Strike and we've been doing it for years. But you didn't start a stage. Like I don't think you started on a stage of like 12 people, then you went to 20 people, then you went to 50 people.
No,
you've only been in
true.
like 400, 500, then jumped to thousands, right? So it's like we play the game with the stage, without the stage, in the studio, without, you know, so.
No, I guess we don't really have anything without
You cannot practice on a stage, you know what I mean? You cannot go on a stage in some random show and be like, today we're gonna be showing, you know, it's really impressive because you stress, the nerves kick in, but you guys still nail it. And there is not really like, you know, I remember in 2018 you did the interview to Zayu, and I was like, this is probably so awkward for Freya, you know? But it's legendary, these moments, right? Because you are saving the interview.
Bro, and look at him now as well. It's like he's grown so much as a human. Now we can laugh about it. I remember seeing him in Stockholm with the major, and that was actually, weirdly, the first time I'd seen him since that moment. I was like, dude, I owe you 20 drinks. What drink do you want? Ended up chatting with him for ages, and it was like, he didn't see that as anything. You know, players can take that one of two ways. They could look at it and go, oh, she fucked me there, you know? She should have come up and spoken to me and said we were doing this shit. I didn't because I was new. I would never do that again. But he looked at it in a funny side because it's Zayu, right? He's obviously just going to look at the funny side.
Every play, like, okay, part of the job is media stuff. Let's be real.
Yes.
You need to go on stage and need to speak to people. Like that's going to be, the reason we have a job is because we're entertaining, the game is entertaining and we're playing it well.
Totally.
Yes. So anyone, like you coming up to a player, unless you know, like it's a Russian team and you know they don't speak English well, stuff like that. But like it was a show match and stuff like that. Because I would think, and this moment was legendary for Zayu career. His brand is just based on, like people just knew him as a good player, and then that's made like a personality of like a really shy person that, you know, even though he had no idea what you were saying.
The opposite to simple at that point. Like that started the polarity of that situation.
And it's crazy and maybe now you say you wouldn't do it, but this is how like this moment went until 2020 in the funniest moments in Counter-Strike, because you don't get to see so much of this, and players always want to. Well, players are more experienced, I guess. You don't see like, you know, you don't really get a show much nowadays with five young talents. You always get like Smuya and these people that know how to speak already for 5 years, and so. But I think this moment was like. For you, you're sitting there and you're interviewing a person, the guy says, no, and everybody's laughing, and you don't know if they're laughing at you or not. But it's good to look at it from the side and be like, yo, it's funny as fuck.
It's
like,
content.
Yeah.
Something that's always impressed me about you is whenever you come onto the desk, this is outside of gameplay, your ability to explain things without giving too much away, and just how eloquent you are, right? Whenever we've had you on desk, when, you know, unfortunately you guys have been eliminated, then you come on for an extended segment. Do you like doing desk work? Do you enjoy that?
I thought to myself that it's probably going to be something I will probably do later on.
Okay.
Because I really like doing that because, you know, let's say the Pro League casting stuff, I think I had like one really funny cast with Hugo and Harry. But the thing is, I don't like to explain so much about the game because I think the fans, when I see these games, you know, obviously there is certain stuff that I might see and be like, yeah, it's team dynamics and they do this, but I think it's not interesting, you know. You want to come on Pro League on a cast and be, you know, doing jokes, you know, like having fun, because you have two casters right next to you. They're talented enough to carry the whole game without you there. Just enjoy it, you know, just have fun with them. Maybe because also they're talented people. They're talented. They're going to ask you questions to explain, to go in depth of the game. But you always want to be like giving there and there some CS stuff, and most of the time just enjoy like how players are and give some insights about the players that is funny. Because I don't like coming on stage and they're doing the execute because last round the enemy team pushed hot and now they're probably gonna stack the other side. It's irrelevant. I'll be honest, like it's relevant because some people watch this game and they wanna get the grasp of it, but it's just something that, you know, I don't like watching myself, so I'm not gonna do it myself. And the desk, I just really like sitting on the desk because I don't think I would ever be able to do your like job in a sense, like you or banks and stuff, like, but being on the analyst desk sort of, or like just the
being an analyst.
yes, sort of, to just like have this 2 minutes, 3 minutes that you are talking about the game, explaining a bit, but also having fun, or casting even. But I just need to get my English accent. I need to get the Daniel Jackson back. I'm not gonna cast with this kind of accent.
I don't feel like you have super strong accent, but
No, but it's just I speak, and also I don't speak so properly as I used to speak. So I just know it's not gonna be. And you know, when you're casting, you're like, you throw words out and they sound really smooth, and he's going towards the A side.
yes, it's knowing what works with your tone and that sort of stuff.
And me, imagine you're like mumbling on the cast when Zai was killing 5 with 5-7. You're just like, you know, you don't want to do
shot.
Yes.
And I fucked it up.
Yeah.
Final item that we're going to put in. This one's kind of ambiguous, so take it however way you want. It can be a moment, it can be a physical thing. Something that reminds you of someone important to you. Is there anything you want to end this time capsule with that makes you think of someone
Important to me.
Yeah, someone like, could be family, friends, teammate, anything.
Yeah, I think anything to do with, like, actually, I'm not sure, but there is just certainly, not certainly, there is just a certain thing in like breakfasts for some reason for me that reminds me of my family, like when I was younger, but it don't remind me of, like, you know, my mom. It reminds me of my family, and I think a certain thing that there is not like an item or, like, you know, as I told you before, like materials are less. I won't keep a chain because someone gave it to me, you know, but it's always going to be events that occurred to me when I was a child, that happened when I was a child, and I kept sticking with them because of religion, because of this, whatever, right? And they kept on going till now, and I might not get them as much because I'm traveling most of the time, so I'm not with my family. But whenever they do happen, it's like a good reminder, you know, well, this is where I'm from, this is my roots, right? I wasn't like a person that expected to be in Malta right now and play a thing called ESL Pro League on a computer.
Yeah,
But it gives you,
right? Yeah.
And it kind of gives you the fresh thing. I also have in my wallet, sadly it's not recorded, but I have a US dollar, and it's the blue drawing.
Yeah.
And I had a friend that I met like 3 years ago. He's still alive, not I had. I have a friend. And this friend, I gave him, I don't know why, I just gave him $1, and he drew in blue on it. He said, yeah, it's a real dollar, and gave it to me. And he says, keep it all your life. And I don't know why, I just stick with it. But every time I open my wallet, I don't look at the dollar, but I know I see the US dollar, you know, his name is Daniel. And my friend, his name is Daniel. Yeah. And I just, okay, Daniel, you know, and this guy, he meant a lot to me because he sort of, I met him, he's older than me, he's year 97. And
okay.
Yeah, and when I met him, I asked him a lot of questions, and he sort of got me a habit of asking better questions than what I used to ask. You know, sort of like how to use the proper words, and what question is more relevant to you, and how to ask it properly and this thing made me really enjoy life way more, because I just really like talking with people, and interaction is basically questions most of the time.
Yeah.
And he sort of taught me that, and yeah, he really came into my curiosity at the time and nailed me, like in what I wanted to know. And this dollar, you know, it doesn't mean a lot to me, this dollar itself, but it just reminds me of a person that is like, he did good in my. It was a very valuable lesson in my
Yeah,
in my
the
life.
point that you met him was like the right moment. How did you meet him?
He is a boyfriend of one of my best friend's sister.
Okay.
And my best friend sister had a friend that had a birthday, and she invited her brother, which is my best friend, and me, because I was in his house for the player break in, I don't know when. And I went with them, and I met, and I knew Daniel should come. And his name is Daniel. Daniel should come soon, like the sister is telling me. And then when I was like, yeah. And my friend is telling me he's going to ruin your brain. He asks so many questions. And I was like, I wonder, let's see, like, because I
Challenge
really liked it.
accepted.
Yes, I really liked it. And he came and he asked me like a few questions, and then I kept shooting at him questions, and he really liked it because I was like 17 at the time, and he really liked it because he's like 25, and he's finally someone speaks with him like questions to questions, and not like, you know, like to most people, like, I don't know, certain environments, but let's say me and you meet, and I would ask you like questions. Usually, I would say that most people I've met so far would go off and like enjoy answering the questions, which I also like to listen to. But there are many few would try to question why you're asking the questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was sort of that, which I really liked, and he sort of opened me to being that as well. And then I kept meeting him and meeting him and meeting him, and life just gave me opportunities to meet him again and again and again. And in that birthday, we sat, he's watching Naruto, I watch Naruto, have many in common, stuff, random stuff from childhood, play the same games, you know. And then our conversations were really, really untied to something. Like we would just talk about stuff that are irrelevant to me and him, in a sense, but they're just very theoretical and try to dig in our lives and, you know, what each other like interests in life are and stuff like that. And he sort of opened me to just be interested more in the human interest, you know what I mean? And that I'm very thankful that I met him. And because before that I was just, I was curious, but I didn't know what to do with it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And he gave me the answer what to do with it. And one day we were meeting each other. I don't know why. I had $1 in my wallet. Maybe I was about to fly to Dallas or something. And it just blue letter, and then take it, all your life it's with you. And it's a joke, right? All your life it's going to be with you.
Yeah.
And I just took it and I was like, okay.
How many years ago was that?
The dollar one, probably
Yeah.
2022 or
Okay.
maybe early 2023.
Okay, so it's lasted a couple of years.
Yes,
then.
and when I met him was also like end of 2021, I guess.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. It's nice to meet those people that just kind of open your perspective and go,
Yeah.
I don't know, I've always seen you as quite you're a very sociable person. You're
Yeah.
somebody you can have like a fulfilling conversation with. I remember in Dallas last year, you were out, you know, having post-game drinks with us or just chatting with us,
Yeah.
right? And you're just like, anything, I'm open
No
to
drinks
anything.
in Dallas.
Yeah,
That was
not
2020.
drinks, yeah.
America, they don't let you.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when people can see that kind of potential in you and just
Yeah.
like, bam, you just need that person to harness it,
Yeah.
show you the way
Yeah.
of how to use that.
How to use it, yeah. Yeah, it's properly said, like how to just use it. Because
Yeah.
so everybody has some curiosity to some things, but hopefully they teach in school one day this, like just to be able to ask questions and like, even if it's not humans, if it's not humans, it's just your computer, or if it's just like a YouTube video that might answer, because you have so many interesting, like imagine if everything that interested you in your life, you would dig deep into it. You'd probably be one of the smartest human beings, like you would grasp a lot of subjects, which
in that field.
is never bad, you know, to just know a little bit of in any realm.
Totally.
And he just gave me this little push, like go on, child, and I went with it.
Boom, so we're locking in the dollar as the final item. Thank you so much,
This was
Flamez.
good, locking in the dollar.
Yeah, lock in the dollar. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. You're the first player that's come on this.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate
The
you
first
taking
and not the
time.
last. So yeah.
Hopefully not the
Yeah.
last.